in reviewing anything on a scale of 1 to 10, I just want to make it law that if someone gives something a 4, they did not like it.
Debris is a new sci-fi series on NBC Peacock Gold.
Debris is like stuff falling to the ground from space.
Debris is it needs to be cleaned up.
Hey everybody, and welcome to Fallingtower's Watch the First podcast, which watch the first episode of a series so that you don't have to. I should have said Debris is my favorite cheese. With us, as always, is chicken farmer Michael Kenyon Rosenberg.
I would never do that to chickens.
Yeah, good point. Also, superstar actor Josh Sussman.
Hello. Finally, I'm afraid of cheese.
My name is Brian. Yes, today we're doing a quick review of Debris. And by the way, it's Peacock, not Peacockle. I know it just sounded funny. Everybody don't have to mention that I said Peacock.
What do you think of that
just said
name
it.
as a streamer? Peacock. Like, what a interesting name. At first I was thinking, are they serious? I mean, I get it. It's the NBC logo. I mean, I guess at least it's not NBC Universal Plus. I mean, everything is a plus.
Yeah.
It's original.
It's like calling something a poo butt.
Yeah, exactly, because of the P and the cock. I get it.
No, but like we got to move on, guys. But before we do, this is too much fun to let go.
I know. I was going to say.
Peacock, NBC. If CBS were an animal, what would they be?
Well, they have the mountains, so they're the wilderness. So all the animals are there. Yeah, CBS All Access just turned into Paramount Plus.
Yeah.
Well, then what would ABC? What kind of animal would ABC?
The Jackson 5, probably.
Maybe a cute little puppy. All the family-friendly programming.
So, guys,
Fox would be a fox, obviously.
Obviously.
Right. We are going to eventually review Debris, by the way. If you want us to review a series that you like or hate or whatever, or have never seen before, just say WTF Frasier, or WTF Will and Grace, or WTF Hawaii Five-0. Whatever you like, we'll check
the remake or the original? They have to be specific.
Yeah, that's true. They do. Yeah.
Watch the first.
Same thing with MacGyver. There's a remake and original of a MacGyver. I feel like I heard they're doing a new Saved by the Bell or something like that.
Yeah, it's already out on Peacock.
Wow. It's Punky Brewster. Tell us.
Brewster, that's out on Peacock. The whole
original or the reboot. Yeah.
They should have changed it to Punky Rooster for Peacock, but whatever. So anyway,
review the first Punky Brewster and invite me because I want to watch it. That'll be fun.
The new one or the old one?
The new. I've never seen either, but I'm down to watch the new one. It'll be fun.
Here's my impression of the first Punky Brewster. Henry Punky. That's what they sounded like. Yeah. Punky. So Josh was like, I think I won't watch it. So anyway, this is how we start off the show. Michael and I have known each other for over 20 years, so we like to predict what the other person thought of this show. We'll let Josh jump in on this, even though he's known us less long, but long enough. So I predict, Michael, that you did not like this series. I think that you thought that the quality of this series of the writing was subpar and that you kind of liked some aspects of it, fun premise and such. But I think that you probably are, lower than a 5 on it, like a 3 or 4 is what I think. Josh, I think Josh liked it even less than Michael. I think Josh is going to give it somewhere around a 2 or 3 because I did actually think of Josh while I was watching this, but we'll get into
what are you thinking?
A little later.
Because the boy had curly hair and you were thinking, he could be Josh's younger brother?
That was it.
What kind of thoughts were you thinking?
Well, I'll tell you once we get through this part. But also, I forgot to mention that everybody that's watching right now in the live chat, make your predictions or in the comments below. Do you think I liked it? Do you think Michael liked it? Do you think Josh liked it? Let us know. Let her rip, Michael.
I think that Ryan was projecting everything that he thought about this show onto what he thinks that I thought about this show.
I thought you were going to say that just now.
Well, you didn't say that, so it's not a prediction. So.
True that.
So Ryan thought that the writing was bad. He thought that everything he said it was terrible, all that stuff. Josh, I think hated it even more than Ryan hated it, and I think there's a substantial amount of hate going around for this show in this episode.
Wow, I think you're projecting, Michael.
All this debris just floating around, projected all over the place.
Now, Josh, what do you think of debris? I know it's stinky cheese, but what do you think of it?
Of the show? Well, so I went in knowing nothing, and which is always a fun way to do something. And it started out, okay, there's text telling me, okay,
Wait,
there was like alien space stuff, and I was like, okay, this could be interesting.
I think what I meant was, do you think that Michael and I enjoyed it? Sorry.
Okay.
I was like, wait.
Okay.
I was gonna say, Ryan, what are you doing? Like,
let him astray.
Okay, sorry. Originally, okay. I thought you were just predicting each other because you guys have known each other the longest. I was originally thinking I could see Ryan having fun with this, but then with his projection of Michael and Michael thinking that was his, I tend to want to trust Michael, and I'm going to now assume that Ryan did not like this, that this was a rough time for him, and I'm going to believe that you guys were mirroring each other like best friends of 20 years and that you guys know each other. So I'm trusting both of you that you guys did not have fun. There was a little to be desired.
So that's not a prediction. You're popping off someone's homework right now.
Yeah, exactly. I am.
That's fair. That's fair, though, I think.
Oh,
but when the homework was in front of me and I saw it, that would be disingenuous of me to be like, let me see my completely original opinion. No, and that would be so a-hole-ish of me. Like, they know you saw the answers, so what am I supposed to do?
I'm glad we have Josh back. He's a crack up. So
yeah, we love having you, Josh. Thank you for joining us. And tune in next week can I
give a behind the scenes of how I get invited to be here? This is my iPhone, and I get a text message, and it's from Ryan, and he says, "Hey, Josh, do you want to be a guest on the podcast?" And then I'm like, "Okay." That's how this happens. The little behind the scenes, little BTS for you.
Wow, this is a show where people really find out all the Hollywood secrets.
Yeah,
pretty much one of the biggest ones. Whenever people on Facebook or whatever, they say, describe poorly what you do for work, for a living. And I just put, I text.
That's so true, yeah.
I just text.
iPhone.
Yeah. So we're delaying the inevitable here. Michael, what is this show about, theoretically?
Let me tell you.
What do they say the show is about?
I'm not going to tell you theoretically. I'm going to tell you what it is about.
Yeah,
exactly. This is actually from IMDb. I always take it from IMDb. 2 agents from different continents and 2 different mindsets must work together to investigate when wreckage from a destroyed alien spacecraft has mysterious effects on humankind. In this episode, MI6 agent Finola and CIA agent Brian Beneventi are jointly investigating alien spacecraft debris that has been falling to Earth the past 6 months. Some strange phenomena have been occurring whenever the alien spacecraft debris appears.
That sounds like it could be exciting.
Did you guys notice? Did you guys notice how they said only the girl's first name, but they gave the dude a last name?
Right. Well, the last name of the girl is Jones, Finola
Yeah.
Jones.
So that was weird. And they also mentioned that they're from 2 different continents because that's important to know, I guess. All right, well let's
They're
move
different
on.
backgrounds, like Mulder and Scully. So instead of, they're not from different continents, they're just from different ways of life.
I did
Science
make the
versus
Mulder and Scully thing in
Yeah.
comparison for sure. So everybody's made their predictions now. They're going to find out real soon how we really felt about it. We've been holding our cards close to the vest. We play a game called What We
and
Expect.
I'm wearing a vest.
Yeah, that's right. You're nailing it.
I'm the only one wearing a vest. So like this, that hit me hard. I felt that.
What we expected
Where do you
versus
hold your
what we
cards,
got.
though?
Close to
Okay.
here.
We compare and contrast what we expected versus what we got. Michael, what did you expect before you watched this episode? This first episode of Debris entitled Pilot.
Oh, there's the cards. Hold them close to your vest. So the way we found this show is every once in a while I'll do like a Google search for new science fiction shows. And so I did that search, and this show this show came up, and I found out that the first episode just debuted on March 1st, 2021. So I was like, hey, we like to review sci-fi shows, and we like to review new shows, right? Kind of like when they come out. So
That worked out perfect.
yeah, so I thought we should do this show, Ryan, and we just have to watch it on Peacock. And then Ryan's like, oh, what the heck? Is this another service I'm going to have to sign up for and pay for? And I was like, no, you can sign up and watch for free. And then we did that.
We sure did, because otherwise we would have given it a thumbs down.
Right. So, but what I expected was a new science fiction show about alien debris hitting Earth.
Josh, before you watched the episode, what did you expect?
I didn't know much. Now now lately I've been enjoying so much of the premium channel shows, like whether it's HBO, Netflix, Amazon, even Sci-Fi Channel, I feel like have premium quality over the networks. Now, so sometimes now the network show, so this being a network show, the expectation, just because I haven't watched them, I'm sure there's a lot of good stuff. But I was thinking, okay, it's a network show. It's more, I feel like they haven't been for me. I don't know. I'm not saying anything funny. Why are you laughing?
I was just laughing because I was enjoying your hair moving with the thing. It's really cool the way the green screen like catches up to it or the effects. But please continue.
Yeah, no. So I really didn't have expectations. I was thinking, oh, a sci-fi show. This alien. I was just thinking, let's have a fun time. It's fun entering a new world. I haven't seen a trailer, so I was ready to have fun and stream on Peacock.
Yeah. I'll tell you what I expected. I think nothing. I think Michael said it's this new sci-fi thing called Debris, and I didn't know anything about it, hadn't heard of it, had no expectations, just sci-fi. So that was it. But that's what we expected. What did we actually get? Michael, what'd you get?
I got a pretty cool new show filled with mystery and intrigue. I really enjoyed all the kind of weird stuff that happened in this show. I know that Ryan has a sour look on his face because he obviously hated it from start to finish. But I thought it was cool, like to see all the effects that this debris was having on different people. The maid picks up the piece of debris and she falls through 14 floors to die in the ballroom. Like that was, right there. That's kind of the scene that had me going, okay, I'm interested. Let's see where this goes. And then there's just more mystery after that. So I thought it was pretty cool. I like the mystery. Ryan hated it. He hates mystery. So
You never know. We'll see when I tell you what I got, but we're going to have to stay tuned for that because it's Josh's turn to tell us what he got.
Well, I got a really great, at the beginning, Capital One commercial with Samuel L. Jackson, who let us know, and this isn't a sponsor, but it's, I guess, 1.5% cash back on everything.
Not
But
bad.
the other guy,
But what about gas?
yeah, everything.
Wow.
1.5. But there was a guy at the beginning of the commercial who I thought was Bryan Cranston at first, but I guess he turned out to be an extra, because I don't think they'd cut Bryan Cranston's lines, but that was fun. And then we got like a Taylor Swift was in a commercial.
Yeah, I saw that one.
But yeah, the Samuel L. Jackson Capital One played a lot. But okay, so at the hotel, the first scene, like in that hotel, like there was a mysterious meeting. What are they? And then there people come in and someone's like texting or telling them upstairs, hey, they're coming up. And the poor maid, and she just fell to her death. I wasn't in the mood for such sadness. There's just the world is so awful now. I guess it was just too sad. There was so much grief and sadness.
Yeah.
And then I think I would have, but I would enjoyed that mystery, like spy espionage element that was in the hotel with people evading. But we only had that at the beginning. So after that opening, which I was into, it kind of started to lose me. But definitely an interesting premise. I wish we had more of that espionage, cat and mouse, chasing, evading others kind of thing. You did it. You just do it like a claw, Ryan?
Meow.
Wow.
I was just really into your story. I'll tell you what I got.
Okay.
I got a very good start of the episode. The episode was not a good start to a series necessarily, but a very good start to the episode. I thought the premise was a really interesting premise from the get-go, and it did hold my hand and walk me through it. It said 3 years ago, images of blah, blah, it goes through the whole thing, and I'm like, great premise, great idea. I like it. It makes sense. It's cool. It's fun. It's interesting. It kind of starts writing itself in your head. And, we get what they're doing. We understood what was happening. And then it just flatlined for me. Like it went like this, and it just went. And there are a lot of things that I'm a little critical of that we could talk about a little bit later. But that's what I got. I got something that has great potential and a great start, but didn't really stick the landing for me, or the middle.
Yeah. And I liked the score in the opening when they were showing like debris falling to the earth after like the cold open, and they had like their theme intro. Like I liked the music. Like I was really trying hard to have fun. Like, okay, this is good score. But yeah, after that opening, it just for me.
See, what I focused on to try to get me through it was the editing. I thought that they did some pretty interesting editing tricks. Like when they showed like Wichita flashing, like the actual name of Wichita, it did just like the font saying Wichita. It was just kind of like Wichita, kind of, it was interesting. It was fun to take. I like the editing.
Mm-hmm. That was an interesting choice, I thought.
Michael, do you want to go ahead and defend your new favorite show?
Yeah, I love this show. No, I mean it's all right. I mean, like I said, I like the mystery. So they paint. So okay, there's that whole first is espionage part. You've got the two guys. The two guys with that had the money, and then there's like they're like trading money for some piece of debris or something like that. That was kind of less interesting to me than actually seeing people interact with the debris and seeing what the effects were. So like I said, the maid picks up the piece of debris, it falls out of the package, and then it's just like floating right above the ground, and she's like, what the heck? I guess I'll just pick that up. Seems like a bad idea, but and then she fell to her death 14 stories through 14 different floors of solid wood, solid metal. Like she fell right through that and then died in a crashing into a table in the ballroom below. So that to me is interesting.
That's two different physical phenomena. One is defying gravity, and the other one is like some quantum physics stuff of like not being matter anymore.
Right.
Like, so those are two completely different scientific.
Right.
Well, we're
Right.
dealing with some alien artifacts here, right?
Right.
What do you
Right.
expect?
Not impossible. It's just a little.
That's what I'm saying. They don't know what this stuff does, and that's what they're trying to figure out. That's their.
I was going to say, have you studied alien debris? We don't know. It's like totally how it happens.
I mean, I minored in it. I didn't like get a PhD.
Yeah, yeah. And then later on in the episode, we find out that these people start bleeding from their eye, and then they float along to this vortex that's kind of like when they get to the vortex, and there's a bunch of floating bodies there, and that's mystery. So that's to me the crux of this episode, is that's when the real mystery begins. But then the beginning and then the very ending is kind of like the story, the season, or the series arc that they're kind of going to try to explore, I think, which is that it's like MI6 versus CIA, but then you got these two agents, one from each, that are working together to solve these mysteries. So that to me is kind of interesting.
Another part that I really liked was during the commercials, they were showing a promotion for the show with Ted Danson and Bobby Moynihan. And I was like,
oh yeah,
funny.
I've seen some of that show. It's pretty good, actually.
Yeah.
We'll talk a little bit more about that later. I'm sure of it. I'm sure of it. I'll tell you where they lost me. First of all, it was a little hard to follow.
Yeah.
Like it was, like I'm not trying to say like that I'm dumb or that the show was, too abstract, but it was a little hard to follow, where I'm like, am I just not paying attention properly? And then is that my fault or is that the show's fault? But like I kind of was like, and then where it really lost me was about midway through it. There's a mystery of a child that died 7 months ago, and the mom sees the child or something like that, and then this lady here says maybe it was her grief that brought the child back. And I'm like, what? Who thinks of that? Who just says, here's a mystery, maybe someone's grief brought, and this was back like in the middle, towards the end, maybe you can say, well, the alien powers, whatever. But that was her working theory. That was her first working theory, was that a mother's grief brought back a cremated child 7 months later. Nobody would have that working theory. They'd be like, oh, well, maybe it was a different child. Maybe it was a twin. Maybe the one that died wasn't really dead. They'd start thinking of that was her fucking working theory. And
he was a creepy kid. He was creepy. And
yeah, he was creepy.
Whenever we would talk to these women, they would just start bleeding from their nose. And
the kid was a good actor.
Of that kid.
Yeah. Well, I think what you're forgetting, Ryan, is that when she went to go visit the debris in the forest, she had a vision of her dead mother. And so that's, I think, what spurred that theory of hers.
I think she saw that before, though.
No.
She just followed up on it later.
No, it was after she visited the thing in the woods, and then she kind of had the idea, like, oh, hey, it gave me this vision of my dead mother. Maybe that's what this lady's grief over missing her dead son is what brought that dead son back, or this manifestation of the dead son that was created by the debris. That's what I got.
Well, at first I was wondering what was going on, because when I guess his sister, they were asking her about him, and she was like, is this a sick joke? Like, he was killed 7 months ago.
Right,
like,
more mystery.
This is potentially interesting, but I was with Ryan in that I don't think I'm dumb. I'm not. But it was just for me, I had such a hard time just following it and caring. And I feel like I had ADD kicking in, and I was trying to go back and rewind. And I was like, no, Josh, pay attention. But I just, it was a chore, Ryan. Did you have that same thing, Ryan? Or you were thinking about me at one point. So now that your ADD thinking about my friend Josh.
I'll tell you what I was thinking of you was, I don't remember exactly at what point in the episode, or somewhere in the middle, where I was like, oh, Josh is gonna hate this. Like Josh is, because I was like, I'm not really able to follow this, and I was thinking, I was like, I don't think Josh is gonna like this. I think that Josh is gonna be with me, and then I also kind of drifted off to thinking about Michael and thinking like, I think Mike's gonna be tepid on this at best. He's probably gonna like it the most out of us, Anyway, that's just what I was thinking. I was like, Josh is like, I didn't. The characters didn't do much for me. The story, anyways, the story has tons of potential though.
So first of all, I just want to make a quick caveat to what I'm going to say by saying I don't think that either of you are stupid.
Thank you. Thanks.
But
Yeah,
but
I was saying maybe it's the fact that I was like invested in the mystery, invested in the story and in the mystery that I was able to pay attention more and really get I understood it all, and it all made sense to me. I wasn't lost at all during the whole thing. But I think that may be because I was more invested in it, and maybe they should have done a better job in getting you guys invested in it. So
I have a question on that thing, and this is, I wasn't familiar with any of the actors.
Me neither.
But I do wonder, as far as casting, if they cast a superstar that we love or is beloved, do you think that would make someone care more and ultimately be invested? Or would it not matter because if it's the same story?
Probably. Maybe they pitched it to some big name actors and they said, nah.
Yeah. No, I think you make a very good point, and I think that there is something to that if it is somebody that we already know and we're invested in, we know that they're a good actor, we enjoy watching them, then we're going to be more invested in what the story is because they're bringing us to the story.
Because I care about them. I watched them on something before. I saw them in my youth.
Yeah.
Josh, can you show us your giant mug?
Oh man, that's
I have two.
awesome.
I'm drinking from two. I have this one, which is the evil queen from Snow White, and this one has a white tea in it.
Mm.
And this one is just water, and I don't know if you could tell, but it says Josh. It has Mickey Mouse right there.
That's a good leader mug right there, I think.
H2O.
Did you get those at cost? What's that? The World Market or what's the one I'm thinking about? I can't even remember that.
Plus. Wait, yeah, Cost Plus World Market.
Cost Plus World Market. Is that the one? I know it's Home Goods is the place where you go and everything is huge. So they have huge versions of everything.
No, I didn't get it there, but I should go shopping there one day. Get some huge things. Maybe I get a huge. I don't know.
Well, that's actually a good question, Josh. Of all the commercials you saw, which place made you want to go shopping at their, or which commercial made you want to go shopping at their place the most?
Of the commercials in today, Peacock show?
Yeah.
I don't. Of the Capital One, that's not really a merchant, but that stayed with me the most. I don't need another credit card, to be honest. But I want Sam Jackson. He's the highest grossing actor of all time with all the movies. I wonder how much. In fact, he's doing commercials. I wonder how much he's making.
Probably a buttload of money.
And so, if Capital One's paying him for that, plus they also have to pay everyone 1.5% cash back. They're spending a lot of money. But yeah, I wonder who that. Do you know who that actor was at the beginning? Do you think it looked like Bryan Cranston? It also looked a little bit like Bill Farmer, the voice of Goofy.
I don't know. I don't even remember seeing that commercial. I think I was like too busy taking notes or something.
Yeah, I clicked away at the commercials. But
you had an option. I don't have that option with the Peacock. I didn't have that option to click away.
Yeah, I would just go to a different tab and just work on some things for a couple minutes. 2 minutes and 20 seconds, I think. At least it told you exactly how much time. It would be 2:15, I think. But yeah, Michael, I think you make a good point. Is that maybe we just weren't invested enough to paint it, because I take a lot of notes, and sometimes I'm taking so many notes that I have to remind myself to pay better attention to actually what's going on. And maybe if I just put the notes away and just totally focus on what's going on, then it would have made more sense rather than me going what are they doing?
Well, yeah, I relate to that because sometimes I don't think it's good to watch movies or TV with your phone. And that's what I love about the movie theater, is that for 2 hours uninterrupted, I won't have my phone. But when I start to get a little bored, all right, oh, my phone vibrated. Let me check. And then maybe I can see if I'm just listening. And then I realize, and with some shows, I'm able to listen and still follow what's going on. But I realized, wait, I just was on my phone and in the emails. I have no idea what's happening. Let me rewind, put my phone away. Bad, Josh. This is not a way to watch a show. This is not fair. So many people worked hard on this show.
Yeah.
I'm going to be on a podcast talking about it. Get off your phone. And it was still so tough to enter my brain.
Right. It's not easy, right?
I want to like stuff because as someone who's pursuing a career in Hollywood and acting, I don't then want the people to say, wait, if they watch the reviews and be like, what? That he didn't like it, he was bored. Well, he could never be on it. And so I was like, I wish I loved it. I wish I was raving about it. I wish I fantasized about being on it. And like, I don't know, people like, what? He didn't like the show? Well, F that guy, excuse my language.
Yeah, you're excused. I mean, you'd probably still be on the show though, right? If they give you a paycheck and.
Well, no, but if then they see this podcast and they're like, him? Forget him.
Here's the key. We're just reviewing an episode.
The episode. Oh, you guys worked really hard on it. The editing, the music.
Sure. Everybody that works on Debris, Josh is an incredible actor. As you can see, he's entertaining. He's well thought out. He double fists his mugs, you know.
He drinks his tea to give him some pep. He drinks his water to stay hydrated. So
smart guy.
And build his muscles too, because lifting those heavy mugs and glasses. So,
Michael, did you know pre-pandemic I used to run into Ryan at the gym?
Huh? I believe that. He loves the gym.
Yeah, it was always a thrill to see him.
Yeah, it was fun. We would run into each other. We'd be like, "Oops, sorry about that."
I bet I know what gym you go to now, though.
Yep.
Oh yeah, what gym?
Star Trek.
The gym over by Ryan, where he lives.
You're good. Michael is correct. Michael, I guess, has psychic powers. Did he get that from the debris? Is there real debris falling down? I didn't think he knew, but honestly, he's 100% correct. If he wasn't, I would have said so. I go to the gym where Ryan lives.
I wonder if the debris also, maybe it doesn't just move you towards the earth more. What if I could touch it and it zaps me over to Portland to visit my friend Michael? And then I touch it again. Maybe it can also go like horizontally, not just vertically from the earth. Like, what if it can?
Well, what were those one guys? They had like pills that would teleport them.
Yeah,
what was that about?
That was an interesting thing, especially because how do pills do that?
Yeah, and then the one guy couldn't control it. He ended up in the middle of a freeway support.
Well, I think there's going to be lots of different powers from the debris. And I think we're only seeing the beginning. I think it was just teased. Yeah. Today we saw how people dealt with grief. I think later on we might see more. Yeah. Or Michael might see more.
Maybe
any of us.
Don't give anything away.
Yes, everybody. At the end of the podcast, we will divulge if we're going to watch the next episode. And don't be fooled. Sometimes
if we would
show and don't watch the next. Sometimes we don't particularly care, but it did enough for us to watch the next one. So we'll see how that goes.
Yeah, one of those.
I'm really interested in picking your brain here. I want to know what really stood out to you about this episode. That's what I want you to sell me on it, honestly.
So yeah, I guess for me the best part, like I mentioned, was the mystery. So and I like that the mystery took some different turns too. So they have this mystery of this woman who is bleeding from her eyes and ends up in a field somewhere, and then they get called, and this is their first touch upon this mystery. And they're obviously intelligence agents, and so they're used to dealing with mysteries, and so they've got to work together just to solve this mystery. So this is their first touch. The first touch of this mystery is when they find this woman, and she's like connected to this barbed wire fence And but then that's not. It has. They're like looking at the way the wind is blowing. They're like, oh, she's like floating, and so they're like, oh, logically thinking, the wind blew her here. But then they're like, wait a minute, that's not the way the wind's blowing. They let her go from the fence, and then she goes further, and they find more people that were bleeding from their eyes. Okay, that's the beginning of the mystery. They study these people. They're alive. They're not dead. You think, okay, they're bleeding from their eyes. They're completely unconscious. You think they're dead, but they're not dead. So that's another aspect to the mystery. Then they find out that the woman who was bleeding from the eyes, the woman they found, that they found some surveillance footage that showed that she was with a kid. It showed, oh, she doesn't have any kids. Another level to the mystery. They find another one of the people that was there floating around in the vortex. They go to his house because nobody had reported him missing. So they're like, okay, let's check this out. They go to his house. They find his wife is floating there, half alive. Another aspect of the mystery. They find that the kid was their son. Another aspect. They call the daughter. Oh, that kid died 7 months ago. So there's all these different layers, and it takes you on all these different twists and turns. And that to me was what was exciting about it. Is I was like, what? Okay, now this. Okay, now you're taking me this way. Oh man.
Like that was an exciting twist when they revealed that he was dead. But,
yeah.
But I feel like just because there's exciting twists, so they get, I don't know, I need more. Like, I mean, sometimes there could be something that's not great, but a great twist will, like, but here, like, the twist wasn't enough to make me care about anything.
He was dead all along?
Yeah.
Sixth Sense.
Wait, spoiler! No, I'm kidding.
You also touched on something that I thought was a cool little thing, was when the woman was hooked to the fence and then they just kind of went like this, and it was just like her finger was holding her. I thought that was kind of a fun little thing. But I also thought that they were very nonchalant about dead or dying bodies. Like when they were
they're CIA and MI6, man. They see that all the time.
No, I mean in how they treated these dead or dying people. They're just like, oh, whatever, you know, like there wasn't like, oh my God, we gotta save him, do mouth to mouth, do CPR. Like they just kind of would show up and be like, I don't know, maybe he's dead, maybe he's not, who cares, we'll just call somebody.
No, they said that they didn't have any pulse. So they probably assumed that they were dead, and that's why they brought in the coroner to inspect them. And she's like, they're not dead. There's no pulse, but they're not dead.
Yeah.
So if there's no pulse, you assume they're dead.
Right. Still thought that they were. I just thought
they could have been a little more chalant about it.
Yeah, they were a little too non with it. I mean, just for me, I just felt like, and that kind of seemed.
What else you got? Come on, come at me.
That just kind of
come at me, bros.
Like throughout the whole thing was they were just very accepting of the situation to a degree that most people would not be. You know, everything was just kind of like, oh, that's weird, or oh, that's interesting, or okay, cool. You know, like I don't need them to overact, and I don't need them to beat, you know, the writing to beat us to death, but it needs to be written and portrayed in a way of like it's accurate, like how humans would react to crazy shit going on. Another case in point, when the room service lady or whatever, the maid, when she goes down 14 floors and she crashes through the table, and then another lady goes and checks on her. The other lady goes like this, she checks on her and she goes, like, she wasn't like, what the fuck? Like I was expecting her to be like, what the hell? Just not only that this impossible thing just happened, but that there's a dead friend, presumably, right in front of her. And she was just kind of like, oh, huh. You know, they should be like, ah, what the hell is going on?
They're more professional than that.
So that was, it kind of seemed like it was like that throughout, where people were just not quite reacting to the situation the way most humans do.
I mean, who knows how much of that they've seen before? Maybe this has been somewhat common the last few months.
Last 6 months, yeah. So, but you know, it could be that you know, they didn't hire the best actors. I mean, they didn't I mean, like Josh said, they didn't get any stars or anything like that.
You think this
Not-
is a
not-
show that was filmed in Canada? It feels like a show that. Is this filmed in Vancouver? Do you think?
Let me check.
What are you trying to say about Vancouver show?
No, no, nothing. I guess there's sometimes, there's not as known at many named actors. Or if it was like filmed in LA, it's like you have. But the fact that there's a new NBC show, not one recognizable person.
Mm-hmm.
Right, that's a good point. Well, maybe the lady's recognizable in England, in the UK. She had a British accent.
I she is from a different continent.
Josh, did you have a favorite moment? What part were you like, oh, that's pretty cool. I'm down with this.
Yeah, so again, my answer was going to be mention one of the commercials, but that's not, I feel like I've probably run that joke into the ground.
We liked it though.
I love it, yeah.
But I guess because we've all been alone for the last year, knowing that I would get to have camaraderie and talk with you guys, that was my favorite part.
Oh.
So I guess knowing I'd be able to share it
Thanks
with you. Yeah, and as I look at it, it looks like it should be debris, but that's not. That's how you spell debris.
Yeah.
A favorite part.
According to Ryan's background, it just says Briss.
Yeah. Well, it was actually, they actually shortened the title. It was going to be called Debris Messing.
Oh.
You're messing with us.
By the way, Josh, the feeling is mutual. When we're watching this, we're like, I can't wait to meet with my buddies and hang out with them. And you're always.
I was excited to hear that we're going to have you back on the show. I was like, all right, Josh is back.
Yeah,
I would love having Josh on for sure.
I want to come back on a show that was easy to watch, where I didn't ADD out and I could intelligently speak about and I feel like there's a lot of shows where I could do that, and I just.
Well, you joined us for Gargoyles. That one was pretty fun. What was the other one you joined us for?
Umbrella Academy. Gargoyles was
Umbrella Academy.
Also, Gargoyles, I had a rough time.
Umbrella Academy was fun for you though, right?
Yeah, but that was also, it was easier because I actually watched them. I watched the season, so there was, and that was a rough one the first time I watched it.
Yeah, I was pretty fussy about Umbrella Academy too.
Filming location, Vancouver, British Columbia,
wow,
Canada. Yeah.
Look at this guy.
Well, the first 5 seasons of X-Files were filmed in Vancouver, and it did have X-Files vibes, minus the good parts about X-Files, which is, because I definitely, if you were describing the show, you would say it's X-Files meets some really bad sci-fi show.
Right. If this show was X-Files, which one would be Mulder and which one would be Scully?
One of the see, the thing is the fact that I can't even answer that.
I think she's a little bit more Mulder, because Mulder, wasn't he the one that wanted to believe, and Scully was like the one that was skeptical? She's kind of the one that's just like, hey, open your mind and be nice to people, and he's more like the guy, I don't know, but you.
Yeah.
She wanted to prove herself that she, her father, was it her father who was the scientist? And
yeah.
Hey, I didn't get this because of my name, because of my dad. I'm really a hard worker and educated, and I'm but yeah, when you watch X-Files, you know who Mulder and Scully is right away. They set it up, and not literally because his name's Mulder, hers is Scully, but it's like that. It's very clear that she is the skeptic who's put there to work with him. And here, it was, I don't know, how do they do shows that were so well done? I wonder, it would be fun to watch the X-Files pilot again. That's a whole show that
WTF X-Files.
But did you watch the last season of X-Files when it came back for a limited series? I think because they had new stuff, they ended up undoing so much of the stuff from the show.
Oh man.
And that was frustrating.
Star Trek fans don't like that when you change things. So I can imagine the X-Files fans probably didn't like it either.
Mm-hmm.
Well, Michael, did you have a favorite part? Was it the whirlwind?
If I was gonna say my favorite part, I guess I don't know if it's my favorite part, but a part that I thought was very interesting was at the very end when you see that the Americans are kind of trying to reconstruct the spaceship.
Yeah.
They're kind of trying to reconstruct the alien spaceship. So they're trying to get as many pieces of debris as possible, it seems like. And they want to do it before the British do. And it seems like there's a little rivalry between them and the British. I'm boring Josh right now,
I
obviously.
know. He's on his phone.
I vibrated it and sorry. I apologize.
He's like, oh, they're talking about debris again. I thought I just.
I was hoping you wouldn't call me out and that the screen would just be on you and that I would get
Oh,
away with
sorry.
it.
I hope it wasn't, but I
No
mean,
one
I
would
hope
know.
that. Sorry about that.
No, it's okay. I was just looking at something. It was personal.
Oh, okay.
I was
What was your
listening-
favorite part?
What's that?
What was your favorite part of the show,
Capital One.
or any part that maybe you found tolerable?
No. At the beginning, I like the espionage part where it's like, okay, they're having this secret meeting. I don't know what's going on, but then they come in and they're like, hey, has this person? And the receptionist was like, oh, I checked him in. And then there's someone in the lobby and he's sending a message and it's like, they're coming and then they're leaving the room and then they come up the elevator, but then they left the room and they're gathering. And I like that. That was interesting.
You like spy movies? Is that
Not always, but I guess that was a part that I able to follow in this, and I was still like, okay, it didn't lose me yet at that point.
Mm-hmm.
But
yeah, I really liked the beginning. I thought that the premise is good. It set it up for a good show. I'm not sure how well it's going to go from the second episode on, but I thought that, the premise had me. I wrote in my notes, I'm like, wow, this is really cool. I like the start. I was pretty excited about it. And, I can be a little critical about this first episode, but, that doesn't mean that the series isn't going to be good. Who knows?
exactly.
It's definitely got some. What I really liked actually was the acting of the kid when he was moving his mother out of the car, and he looked like sinister. He's just kind of like, yeah. And my thought was, oh, I wonder if he's an alien.
That's what I was thinking too.
He was acting not like a 7-year-old child.
Well, yeah, if a 7-year-old child finds their mother dead, bleeding from her eyeball, they would freak out.
Yeah,
Even if they hate their mom, they'd still be like, "What the heck? My mom is dead. What the heck happened?"
and
But then he was having the same
thought of acting
conversation.
he was
with the
acting
other-
like almost sinister. Like when he was talking with the lady here.
He did seem sinister. And then before his mom started like bleeding, he had the same conversation about, like, they're talking about the tightrope walkers, and that's what.
Right.
I was like, what's his obsession with tightrope walkers? Is that just
He's an alien.
is that what it was? I don't know.
Well, speaking of which, Josh, you know what time it is.
4-6. No, I
It's
don't know.
time to talk about you, Josh
Okay.
Sussman. What's your middle name, by the way?
It's Mark.
Oh, Josh Mark Sussman.
Someone added a fake name, I think, on IMDb, and then I wanted to change it, but then I couldn't because I thought it was actual. So I have factual information, so I had to go on Wikipedia and then put my real middle name. And when I made a Wikipedia, I was able to go in and see all the edits people tried to make on my Wikipedia over the years. I've never done any. People are mean and wrote terrible things and tried to just put very insulting things in their Wikipedia bio. And I guess Wikipedia has good censors because they never went through. But you
Nice.
could, on any Wikipedia page, you could see every single edit someone attempted to make. It's crazy.
That's weird. Creepy.
I'm going to change my backdrop for this part.
Yeah, what are you thinking? You have anything backstagey?
It's funny you say that because, well, check this out. Hold on to your hat. I know you're not wearing a hat, but that's just like a famous saying. I don't know if it's famous, but okay, check this out.
Oh, we're backstage all of a sudden. Check us out.
Yo, welcome to my world. Well, I'm Josh Sussman from the television, and this is my world now. Is that really cool?
That was
That was great.
hilarious. Yeah.
Very good. So, speaking of backstage, you've just recently worked on a new episode of a show, right?
That's true. Yeah.
Can you tell us what show that is, or is it a secret?
Well, I was recently on Mr. Mayor. I did 2 episodes of those, and there were commercials for it during Debris. And so that was fun. And the season of the show ended already, and they haven't announced if they're going to do a second season. And I hope they do. So just the fact that they're showing commercials for it, that makes me think, maybe they will do a second season. And that had to be a Ted Danson. Tina Fey was the writer, Holly Hunter.
Bobby Moynihan. I've seen the first 5 episodes, and so I saw your first episode, Mr. Sugar Glider guy.
Yeah, my first episode was the 5th one.
Oh, you saw it?
Yeah.
Yeah, Michael watches. Oh, you watch the first 5, and when I appear is when you stop.
No, because I'm watching it with my wife, and so we kind of watch it piecemeal. So
okay, and so that was fun. And I just did another NBC show,
Wow.
and it hasn't come out yet, so I don't know if I like the final cut. You never know. But I did Superstore.
Superstore, and that episode is premiering tomorrow, right?
Yes. So on March 25th, they're having the last 2 episodes back to back. The last episode and second to last episode. So you could see me in the second to last episode, and say a bad word. So they're going to bleep me out. Because sometimes that show does that. So instead of hearing me say like a bad word, you'll hear bleep. That's not a good impression of the bleep sound.
I thought the mic hit a button or something.
No.
Yeah, it was that. Oh, thank you.
No,
mattered.
that was all him.
But that show was filmed at Universal Studios on the Universal backlot. So when I'm at the Universal backlot, I walk to Hill Valley because that's where they filmed Back to the Future.
Right, yeah.
The clock tower was there, and it's so many people who work on that lot. I don't think they even know that that's Hill Valley, and they take it for granted. I'm thinking, it's so weak. Like, it looks the same as it did in Back to the Future, and it's just like so surreal. Like, so to be on a show at Universal, like that's, for me as a kid who grew up watching movies, and being there is just the coolest thing.
Yeah, it's amazing.
Yeah.
And we did those, and because those shows were filmed recently, you have to take all sorts of tests, like every day, like not like homework, like COVID tests. This is a test that you don't want to pass. This is the kind of test you don't want to be passed. Oh wait, I just realized, I know on YouTube sometimes you're not even supposed to say that word. Like, is that bad? Do you know about those rules, or if they?
Don't worry about it.
Which thing or word are we not supposed to say?
The C word.
The C word. That's what some channels, they call it Rona, or they come out, have other names, because if they say it, like YouTube demonetize or something. I don't even know if it's appropriate to talk about that.
No, I think it's
we
fine.
Certainly can't afford for YouTube to demonetize this episode. There's no way we can afford that. I'm just kidding. It's totally fine.
I think we'll be fine. Yeah.
Yeah, totally.
Okay, so I'm being respectful to you guys.
We appreciate it. Thank you.
So if it is, you can just cut all this part out. Oh wait, this is live, so I guess you can't. Never. Okay. Hey to everyone in the comments below. You guys are awesome. Thanks for watching.
Yeah. By the way, speaking of which, we didn't give a shout out to all the people watching right now. Thanks for reminding us, Josh. Hey guys, we see you and we hear all of the funny things that you're saying. Thank you for saying them.
Yeah, like after this, I'm going to go through and actually read them, because I'm trying to give my full attention to Ryan and Michael. But
Perfect.
Hello, and thanks for spending time with us.
Now, Josh is hilarious, so please be sure to follow him on all of his social media. That we will we'll include the links in the description.
Yeah, there's the TikTok and the Instagram.
Yeah.
Have you got on?
I followed you on TikTok and Instagram. So
well,
and you followed me back too. Thank you for those.
Yeah, of course.
I've heard of TikTok.
Ryan, you want to get on TikTok right now? You want to create one this moment, live on air? Why the resistance?
Oh, I just don't want to, I guess. I mean,
Okay.
it's like
Right
another Vine thing, right? It's like Vine. I didn't
Vine was
join
just 6
Vine either.
seconds. Here you can go up to a minute.
You can go up to a minute. It's pretty.
Yeah, Ryan.
Well, speaking of
Think
which,
how much fun you could have in 60 seconds.
All the kids are on TikTok these days. That's a great place to promote things for
Yeah, and
people who
adults-
promote things.
Adults too. Anthony Hopkins is on TikTok.
he's
John
just a
Travolta
kid.
just made a TikTok.
Bill Nye the Science Guy.
Yes.
That tracks. Bill Nye.
So Ryan, now that you know about Bill Nye the Science Guy, are you rethinking? Maybe I will. Get on
Very
TikTok.
much so. I mean, like,
Jack Black is on TikTok. He does some excellent TikToks.
boy, oh boy. It just breaks my heart that we have to finish this podcast first. So we will include Josh's links in the description box below. Please be sure to watch Superstore and say hello to Josh when you see him on the screen. And also,
that doesn't really work. I guess you could. I won't know if they're saying hi to the screen, but I guess
You can join TikTok and say hi to him on TikTok.
yeah. You send out a tweet, leave a comment on Instagram. There's all sorts of ways. No, and it's fun. That's been really fun to interact and meet people that way. And I feel like just because of social media, you get to meet and interact with way more people than you'd ever have gotten to. So please say hello. I say hi back.
deal. What a deal, you guys. He will say hi back, so just do it. Now, we're going to move
And excuse
forward.
my language on Superstore. Sorry.
We're going to move forward to the bottom line, which is also known as the Terrible Twos. Josh calls it the bottom line. Michael and I call it the Terrible Twos. It's the final.
I think I'm just going to side with Josh, and I'm just going to call it the bottom line only. Bottom line.
Well, Josh calls it the Terrible Twos. It's the final.
I appreciate the solidarity, what's you aligning with me. I appreciate, we'll call it the bottom line together.
All right. Bottom line it is.
So it's the final.
But it doesn't have to. I don't. Let's all agree to just live in harmony.
Well, harmony is actually like 2 or more notes, right? So this would be 2. This would be harmony.
Okay.
Do you think?
The bottom line.
Okay, we gotta move. We gotta keep going. This train is falling off the tracks. Final 2 questions. Here we go. Question number 1 is, for the purposes of this podcast, no. Scale of 1
Nope,
to
that's
10.
the second question.
Scale of 1 to 10, Michael. What would you give the first episode of Debris? We've really bantied around with this kind of stuff, but it's time to give the answer.
So I agree with both of you that the premise is excellent. Very interesting premise, and we love alien technology. We love seeing it fall to Earth and interacting with human beings. We love the mystery that it creates, and we love the espionage. And there's so much about this show that we all love. And I think based on all that stuff, I would give this show a solid 7.7. Solid.
7.7 it is.
7.7
7
Out of 10.
out of 10.
Okay.
out of
On
10.
a scale of 1 to 10.
Now, Josh, on a scale of 1 to 10 pieces of debris, what would you give this first episode?
Oh, do I have to answer? I love being positive and spreading positivity, and my answer has nothing to do with positivity, but I'll give it a 2.6.
Wow. 2.6 pieces of debris. At least it got that extra 0.6. So.
And that's probably the truth. Is that's me just trying to put my positive spin on it. Where if I was being even more truthful, maybe it wouldn't have got that 0.6 extra. Maybe could have even been 2.55. right? Maybe 2.35 because that's widescreen. It's like the wide aspect ratio.
Yeah, yeah,
But
Well-
cinematic was not.
yeah.
Now, thank you for buying me a lot of time there, Josh, because I've really been playing mental ping pong where I just don't know where I'm going to put this. Like, I kind of want to punish it for, what it did to my time. But at the same time, I want to be respectful to the effort that was put in. And I also, above all, want to be honest and objective, because that's what we do here.
Honesty is the best policy.
Right. That should be a thing. So
It is.
I'm going to give, I'm going to be generous here because I do very much like the premise. And I do think that there's a lot more that, it could go up. I don't think it will. I don't think the show is going to get much better, maybe, but it could definitely go up. I'm going to give it a 4. I'm going to give it a 4. But I definitely didn't dislike it. And it's got a lot of potential. But
You definitely didn't dislike it and you give it a 4. That's less than a 5.
That's true.
I don't think you could say you definitely didn't dislike it and give it a 4. Those two don't add up. It's true. That's just science and math.
Well, let me further explain that. I mean, like
He's got a good point there, Ryan.
It's
That's like having your cake and eating it too, whatever that means.
Well, I didn't say I liked it. I'm saying I didn't dislike it.
But you gave it a 4.
So it's going to be a 4, 5, or 6. It's going to be in that middle zone somewhere. It's definitely on the low end of the middle zone because it flatlined for me, and I didn't follow along very well, and that could be partly my fault. Yes, you.
I would just want to put this out on the record. In reviewing anything on a scale of 1 to 10, I just want to make it law that if someone gives something a 4, they did not like it. Ryan, if you wrote a book and it got a review that was a 4, and then they said, I liked it. No, they did not like it. They gave it a 4. You can't.
Well, there's a movie in 1980 called Caveman. It's not a very good movie. Ringo Starr, John Matuszak, Shelley Long, what's his name? Dennis something. Anyway, it's not a very good movie, but I liked it.
Dennis Quaid.
Dennis Quaid. It's one of my favorite movies ever. But
So that's a different thing because you enjoyed it. So there's something that could be not.
But I wouldn't give it a 10 or an 8 or a 7 or anything like that because I'm like, was it really a good movie? I don't know.
But if it's one of your favorites, that holds a special place. If it's one of your favorites, it holds a high place.
Mm-hmm. So, for the purposes of this podcast, we all had to watch the first episode of Debris entitled Pilot. Now that the podcast is over and you're free to move about the internet, Michael Kenyon Rosenberg, would you watch the second episode of your own volition?
I bet you can guess
I think you would.
that but you wouldn't guess because I'm gonna actually say no. I did enjoy this first episode.
He's gonna get you.
I did enjoy this first episode, but I've seen enough. I don't think I need to see more. I mean, I do think that the premise is interesting, but there was nothing super compelling me to. I mean, they tried to build up this whole thing at the end where there's like, oh, U.S. versus England with who's going to get all the debris first and that kind of thing. But that just wasn't that interesting to me. That's not the interesting part to me about this episode. It was the mystery that they solved, and I enjoyed that. But I don't think I necessarily need to see any more.
Well, Josh, he gave it high marks, and he said he would not watch the second episode. You gave it low marks. Would you watch the second episode?
Okay. After watching this first episode, I think that might be the only episode I watch. But I also acknowledge that maybe it does get better. It's possible. It's possible that
Yeah.
you'll grow into the characters and it'll, but there's just so much great stuff out there that
Right.
they don't get you at the pilot. I don't know. I'm gonna say I'm at right now. I will not. And even if, but what if there were people in the future who said, "Oh, it gets so good, it gets amazing." Nah, I'm gonna say no. But I just recently found out the reason they call it a pilot is because they hope it winds up in the air, on air.
Huh.
Did you know that? I don't know if that's the real reason. But I found out that's why they call it.
Well, I'll tell you guys right now, I don't think it does get better because on IMDb, the first episode got a 7.4 and then the
Whoa.
second episode got a 7.
Okay, well that's still fine.
Yeah, it's not a 4.
I'll tell you, I would say that no, I'm not going to watch the second episode. Although,
What?
like Josh, if somebody said it gets so good, it gets really amazing, I probably still wouldn't watch it. Now that I think about it, now that the words are coming out of my mouth, I'm like, what am I talking? I probably still would, because there's a million things that people are like, it's so good, So I probably still wouldn't, but I wouldn't completely close the door forever, because
WandaVision, Ryan, is really good. So
I love WandaVision so much.
everybody says it, and then Ryan still refuses to watch the second episode, probably because he said that he wouldn't watch the second episode, and he wants to stick to his guns. He doesn't want to prove everyone else right.
One of my friends, he was my next door neighbor. His name was Juan, and his family was the Divisions. And, Josh is...
Wait, Ryan, why aren't you going to watch?
His name was Juan Division. So,
oh, yeah, okay. That's good.
But Michael, you're the one that brought it up. I did not watch the second episode nor the third episode, but I did watch the fourth and fifth episodes. Because I was like, okay, I'm not going to watch the second because I don't want to watch. This is not interesting. What they're doing is not interesting to me. I want to skip ahead to where they get to actual like Marvel stuff, right? A Marvel series, something that I want to watch. So I skipped to episodes 4 and 5 because I felt like that's where it's going to start kind of opening up to that. And it didn't do anything for me, so I'm done with it.
That's because you missed the second and third one.
If
you only watched the second and third one, then you would have been hooked, but I guess not.
That's not how you watch TV, Ryan. Everyone in the comments below to let Ryan know that's not how you watch TV.
Yeah.
How do you watch TV, Josh?
Chronological order. Sometimes with a bowl of popcorn.
Yeah.
Smile in my heart.
Yum.
Is that what the vest is for, Orville Redenbacher?
I just want to dress up for you guys.
Oh, thank you. You look great.
The things you say.
And on that note, we're gonna have to leave you guys.
Oh, that note.
Was that
that was funny. Ryan, that's how you do a good joke. Like your WandaVision joke bombed, but Michael's note, that was good. Like write that one down in your notepad. Like
on a scale of 1 to 10, what would you give my WandaVision joke?
Okay, see, right, I would want to give it a 7 or 8, but your execution.
Do what's in your heart.
Yeah, no, it's a good joke, but and maybe you're too subtle with it, which sometimes is good. But and maybe there was some stuttering because I didn't realize you said vision. I'm a 1. Yeah, it's a good joke. Work on your delivery. It could be a 10. It could be
now,
a 10.
What do you give Mike's joke?
I said 9. Solid 9.
Wow. High praise.
And also, part of what goes into that rating is the timing. It wasn't set up. There was all of this conversation is not rehearsed. Ryan said on that note, and he just did it. And home run.
Oh!
Wow. So, I guess what I'm going to say is this podcast ended on a high note.
Ah. This podcast was ha.
This podcast was fun.
All right, everybody, please be sure to suggest a show for us to watch by saying WTF, whatever you want us to see. She-Ra, right?
Yeah,
that's about it.
Seinfeld we haven't seen yet still. What are some sci-fi shows that we haven't seen yet?
Altered Carbon, How I Met Your Mother.
How I Met Your Mother is a sci-fi?
Maybe it sounds like sci-fi.
Watch
Anyway,
The Mandalorian.
special thank that was
We
our
saw that one, yeah.
special thanks to Josh Sussman. Check him out everywhere. And always remember what Mr. Michael Kenyon Rosenberg likes to say.
Don't forget to register to be an organ donor. And also, after that, go ahead and just watch the first of things.
How do you like that, Josh?
That was beautiful.
Oh,
No,
good.
that was like I feel that's what I wanted to feel watching the show. Emotions.